Hey, Jersey John here with the Johnny Says E-Bike channel. I just got a new Philodo H8 all-wheel drive in to go with my other one. This way somebody could keep up with me, right? Because a single motor ain't going to do it. So I'm going to be opening up the box, putting it together. I'll speed it up. I'll try to make it as short as possible. But I just want to show you what it's like to get one of these and how quick it takes to put together. It's pretty simple. All right, check it out. All right, so this is what everything looks like in the box once you open the top. So what I'm going to do is take everything out, lay it all out for you so you can see exactly what's in here. Okay, so here's a closer look at the way everything's wrapped up. Your forks, here's your front wheel. So we're going to pop that off, put it on the forks, plug it in, ready to go. Fenders on the rear, back motor, everything's ready. Nice little derailleur guard there. We're going to throw the rack on. We're going to throw the seat on. Put on the battery after it's charged. Put on the handlebars. Pop the front wheel on. That's pretty much it. Shouldn't take that long. Not bad. All right, so this is everything here. What I did was just lay the box down and I just kind of slid the bike out and stood it up. It was pretty easy, not heavy when you do it that way. So this is everything bundled up, and on the bench I have everything laid out. Pretty simple, but the first thing I want to do is get that battery started on the charger. All right, so this is what was in the box as far as components and parts. So we have the seat over here. We have the rear rack. They give us the front fender. This is the headlight and horn. These are the mirrors, which I use handlebar end ones anyway. And then here is what's in the box. So we have our pedals, a wrench, multi-tool, bunch of zip ties. These must be for the rack or they're extra. Owner's manual. And this here must be the charger by the weight, and boom. There's the charger, US plug, no problem. So now over here, this is the battery. Looks like a bit of a ding on the side there. Hope that's nothing. Definitely don't want a problem with the battery of all things. So luckily the ding is on the spot where it's beveled. Wow, that's pretty lucky. And here we have 22 amp hour battery. Turn it on. Let's see what it says. It says full charge. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to plug it in anyway and see what the charger shows and get it on the road. All right, so I'm getting the charger ready and I'm going to plug it in, and then I notice on the charger cord there's a UL label on there, and then I look at the charger itself, there's another UL label, so that was pretty good to see. Okay, so here's something I noticed about the Philodo chargers and batteries, and this is different with all the batteries I have. Some of them you don't want to plug the charger in when you plug the prong into the battery itself. Some of them, they have to be plugged in first, like the Philodo. If I don't plug this in first, I'm going to get an arc. So one thing I like to do is, one, make sure the battery is turned off. And then what I do is check out the how much is on there. Battery's off. It won't show me how much is in there as far as capacity. I'm going to undo it and I'm going to plug it in, and let's see, boom, no arc. All right, now I can guarantee you if I unplug this and plug it in, it's going to arc. I don't want to do it. All right, so the battery shows, or the charger shows, that it's not fully charged, so I'm going to put it on and let's see how long it charges before it turns green, because the battery itself showed that it was full. Here's something to keep an eye out. The pedal, the crankshaft, is inside the spokes. So in order to remove this without bending the spokes, I'm going to have to turn the forks and slide this wheel forward to get it out of there. So one of the handlebar straps were tied to the forks, wouldn't let me turn it. So now I'm going to turn the fork. Gives me room to slide the wheel forward. Boom. just like that. All right, without damaging the spokes. So don't forget, keep an eye on this inside your spokes. Okay, so I unwrapped all the packaging. It's just foam with paper tape. You just peel it right off. I took all that off. I took off all the zip ties. Now I have the bike on its kickstand. I throw a little 3/4 inch block under the one side of the fork to kind of give it a lean back so it stands up and it's stable. So now I take off the 4 bolts for the handlebars. I'm going to put that on. We're going to put the seat on. We're going to put the rack on and the rear brake. Then what I'll do is throw on my handlebar jacks. I'll flip the bike upside down, and then I'll be able to put the front wheel on with the bike upside down so I can make sure everything is set in the dropouts. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to try something here that a lot of people do, something I don't normally do when I put a bike together. Usually at this point I flip it upside down, I put the handlebar jacks on and all that. Well, not everybody has handlebar jacks, and not everybody wants to be flipping their bike upside down if they don't have to. So what I'm going to do is put the wheel on while the bike is standing upright. I take off the nut, I take off the washer, I leave the torque washer on. I have the rotor on the right side. I have my torque washer vertical on the bottom so it fits in the dropout. Now I'm going to lift the bike up, and if you have somebody to help you, that would probably be a good idea. Turn that torque washer so it fits, but we got to make sure this rotor gets between the pads without messing up your brakes. So in hindsight, I would have taken off the calipers, made it a little easier. Turned the wheel, it dropped right in. Wow. So that's it. The wheel fell in. It's sitting in the dropouts really nice. All the way down. Torque washers where it's supposed to be. So now I'm just going to throw on the washer and the nut. Make sure we do not cross thread this. All right. There's one side. Get the other side. Now, normally I will set my front brakes. I will tighten the brake handle after I loosen the caliper and then retighten the caliper. But I want to see if it spins and the rotor is not touching or rubbing. Then I don't have to bother with that. Only thing I have left now is put a couple of zip ties on here, plug the motor in, make sure the arrows are facing each other, and the front wheel's done. Not bad. All right, so the rack apparently is going to take me longer than anything on this bike. I'm off by, geez, not even half an inch. So what I need to do is get this pipe pushed it back that way a little bit. So I got a piece of steel. I'm going to stick it up in there. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a tweak. Let's see if that works. And boom, there you go. Okay, so I still have one more nut to put in the rack. So it's not lining up. Here's what I'm going to do. I got a little piece of some nice hard pine. I'm going to kind of give it a little push. I'm going to use my leg to push it. I'm going to hold the bike with my other hand. I'm going to slide it forward. Boom, done, just like that. So, little MacGyver move. Not bad. Now the rack's done 100%. I'm going to throw the tail light on, and you can see they have this little notch underneath to receive the wire. My other bike, they didn't have that cut in. I should have cut it with my Makita, and that's probably what I'll do now. But the last one, what I did was I had to bend the wire down and put a rubber washer behind it to give it space. They seem to have rectified that little issue, and yeah, this is a piece of cake now. And the bracket is welded to the frame, so that's not going anywhere. Just 2 nuts, and boom, the light is on. Good to go. All right, now we're ready for the pedals. You can see the pedals are marked right and left, and on the end of the pedal it'll say right or left, and you're basically going to screw them on. So the right side will screw on normally, the left side will be reversed. They give you this multi-tool, multi-wrench, which you can use to put your pedals on with. It was nice they give you that, along with the Allen tool. All right, super tight. Later on, I'll get another wrench and I'll make sure that's really tight. But pedals, piece of cake. All right, now for the headlight. This one is really easy. You can see they have this little bracket on the back. It just sits on there. They give you a nut. They give you a bolt. But what I did was I put on some Loctite. I added a flat washer to the front. And I'm going to add a lock washer to the back, because nothing worse than when my headlight comes loose. All right, so it's looking really good. I just basically got to go around with the torque wrench. The numbers are in the manual. Put the battery on. I'm like, wow, look at these swept back handlebars. I kind of like that. I'm like, wait a minute. It looks unusual. Well, and I could have edited this out, by the way. The handlebars. I forgot to spin them around before I put them on. All right, so I thought this was some kind of new look. Swept back handlebars. No, look what I did. That's actually pretty funny. So I'm just like everybody else. We all make mistakes, and I'm going to spin that around real quick. All right, so now that I adjust it and spun around my handlebar stem, I'm going to have to take my handlebars off and flip them around. So yeah, I knew that was too easy. All right, so I got everything put together, everything corrected. I put the handlebars back the way they're supposed to be. And remember, when you do your front headlight, put the fender on at the same time. I basically had to take the nut off and put it back on behind the light in order to install the fender. A couple things I do is I put on some fork boost. It's a lubricant for the forks, and what I do is I just spread it around with a Q-tip just around the seal. It keeps everything nice and clean and lubricated, and you can literally see this stuff kind of push out any dirt or debris that might get caught in there. And then I'm also going to use some muck off dry lube. I'm going to put this on the chain. It looks pretty lubricated. It looks really good. But I always use the muck off dry lube on my chains. Keeps them in great shape and keeps the bike nice and quiet. All right. So now what I'm going to do is just put the battery on real quick. This is always fun. The mount is pretty solid. So I'm going to turn my key. Open that up there. I'm going to slide it in up underneath. Drop it down. Push it down. Turn the key to lock it in. And that's pretty much it. All right, so now the battery's in. We're ready to go. I'm going to turn on the key. Hit the power button. Please work. I got nothing. You know why? Forgot to turn on my battery. Remember, I turn the battery off when I charge it. I'm going to turn on the battery, turn the key back on, hit the power button, and wow, we're good to go. All right, let's just see. I'll lift both wheels off. Both wheels are turning. So there you have it. Probably about 30, 45 minutes because I had to fix a few things, bend a few things like the rack to get that lined up. But other than that, not too bad. Philodo H8, pretty good stuff.